Hey guys, it's Michael. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to a video that a lot of you guys have waited for, because in this video we will clarify how you can avoid sternum pain from dips, so how you can avoid a costochondritis syndrome in your sternum. And in the second part of the video, I want to show you what you can do to treat the costochondritis if you already suffering from it. So what actually is costochondritis? It's basically an inflammation in the cartilage around the sternum area here. And once that area is inflamed, you will feel a very sharp pain if you put load on the sternum. So if you put your chest on stretch in heavy benches, dips, shoulder extension positions here. And this often comes from dips. And so in the first part of the video, I want to show you how you can really adjust your training to avoid this situation in the first place. The first and most important thing to avoid sternum pain from dips is the one you probably don't want to hear, and that is proper load management. That is especially true for athletes that just have started with weighted dips. What happens is that your muscles recover pretty fast. That means you can really get more weight from session to session and you can progress really fast, you can overload really fast. But what your muscles tolerate is not automatically what your passive structures, so joints, tendon, cartilage, can really tolerate. And that often leads to those inflammations in the sternum area because you just overloaded too fast. That means you progress too fast with weights. So to avoid this, make sure that you really keep your weights constant for a certain phase and that you don't try to really get aggressive progressions from session to session. Really take some time, especially if you start with weighted dips, to really progress sustainable. Very important, and the best thing you can do to avoid this kind of injury in the first place. So proper load management is key, guys. The second thing that you need to do to avoid sternum inflammations from dips is a proper technique. And what do I mean with a proper technique? And that is especially under high loads to avoid a lot of stretch on this area. So if you are dipping, we want to make sure that even under high loads, we keep our shoulders depressed and we keep our chest tight. That means on the way down, we keep shoulders depressed. That means we keep tension in the chest. So this is our bottom position and not this. We do not want to work in the end ranges because that will give us a lot of stretch under a high load. If you're working with bodyweight dips, with ring dips, and you're more advanced, it's no problem to have more stretch, to have more range of motion. But under high loads, or if also bodyweight dips are a high load for you, you need to avoid this because this can lead to those inflammation situations. So keep your shoulders depressed, chest tight, slightly protracted. Then when you go down, chest stays tight. We also keep the sternum area tight. We do not open up here. I also have a lot of other videos about this topic, but this is also true here. So keep it tight, especially under high loads, and then you will automatically be more safe with the dips execution. The third part that you need to consider in your training to avoid costochondritis or any sternum inflammation conditions is that you really need to keep your thoracic spine area mobile. This is often neglected. We want to really mobilize it in rotation and in extension. And in our coaching, we often use two exercises that work really well to do so. And in the following, I just want to show you these two exercises, and then you can integrate them in your training to keep the spine mobile and healthy. The first exercise that I want to show you are T-spine rotations. And therefore, we need a bit of equipment, something to sit on. I just used this wooden box. We need a broomstick. So please don't ask me where to buy this. Every market that has broomsticks, you can get one. It's not a special one. It's really, from if you're wiping the floor, that's this stuff here. And you need a black roll or a yoga block, whatever. Then sit upright, 90° in the hips, 90° in the knees, and then slightly press this black roll together. We're using the broomstick, placing it in a back rack position here, and then what we're going to do is rotate our spine, not the hips, so you don't move this one with, you really just rotate your thoracic spine. Make sure to breathe in, and then rotate, and really give it some pressure. Look into the direction that you're rotating, and then create pressure. Hold this position for roughly 15 to 20 seconds. Then, without letting off tension, slightly bend to the side. Hold this for another 5 to 10 seconds. Come back up. Breathe again. And push even further. And then, of course, you repeat that on the other side. So you rotate, side bend for the given amount of time, and rotate even further. And this exercise is very, very great to mobilize the rotation of your T-spine, and 100% recommendation from me and the whole King of Weighted coaching team. The second exercise that I want to show you that I find really, really helpful to mobilize the extension and hyperextension of the T-spine are those T-spine extensions, and therefore we just use a black roll again, and a weight plate. Something 5 or 10 kg is totally sufficient. Then we're placing the black roll here on our T-spine area. You can just start to roll it a bit, you know, let the joints pop, and once you feel a comfortable position, then you put your feet in a stable position, you grab the weight plate, you extend your arms, and then you slowly let the weight pull your spine over that black roll. Don't forget to breathe, and you will feel a stretch here in that sternum area. You probably will also feel a stretch in the shoulders, and then hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. And then you come back up and just repeat this for a couple of cycles. And set by set, rep by rep, you probably gain a bit of range of motion. By the way, you can also use this exercise to really mobilize the shoulders a bit more. Main difference there is that you try to keep the core a bit more tight and that you do not bend as much. You really just want to have the range of motion from the shoulders then. Looks almost the same, but look at my core. Would be this exercise versus this. So small difference, but important if you don't use it for thoracic spine extensions, but more for shoulder mobilizations. And with those two exercises, you really can mobilize your T-spine holistically, and very, very great. And as I know that this video for some of you guys comes a bit too late and you already have a painful situation in that sternum area, then of course I want to tell you what you can do if your sternum is already inflamed and you have pain. So rule number 1 is don't train into the pain. So if you already experience pain and dips, just don't do dips. Really take a look at other exercises and see what you can do comfortable. If it's really, really bad and you cannot do any push movements, then don't do any push movements. You do not want to train into the pain. Because if the inflammation is really, really bad, what we don't want to do is put even more stress on that area, and that also includes stretching. So, depending on how bad the situation is, my recommendation is, if it's just a light pain, take a look at exercises you can train that don't cause any discomfort and implement those mobilization exercises that I showed you in the first part of the video. If the pain is very, very bad, don't do that strong stretches that I showed you in first place. Also in other videos you will find like stretches for the pecs and stuff. Don't do that if the pain is very, very bad. If the pain is bad, what we want to do are some soft tissue mobilizations, and one of them that you can do, I will show you now. So the first step of your recovery protocol is soft tissue mobilization and really just light movements in this area. And once this gets better, we start with step number 2, which then is light loading and really a bit of stretching. And as this gets better, you slowly start to increase the training volume and the training loads again. Make sure to take enough time on each step and don't overdo it. So try not to progress extremely fast, really take your time with the recovery. Otherwise, the total recovery time will be too long because you're always training back into the inflammation. So make sure to really, make it chill. So back to the soft tissue mobilization. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna place the black roll ball next to my spine and try to really mobilize with the ball all those muscles there. So placing it next to my spine, I start with the right side here, and then really gentle pressure going all the way, mobilizing it a bit, pushing a bit into protraction so I can feel the muscles better, mobilizing it. And then what I start to do is, while I mobilize it, I also move the arm up and down on different positions. Really mobilizing it, different position. Then the amount of pressure is of course up to you. See what you can tolerate, and then just go through the different positions along the thoracic spine area, and then really mobilize it, and do that on both sides. If you need help during this recovery process and you're unsure how long a phase needs to be, what exercises exactly next to the ones that I showed you you need to implement with how many reps, sets, hold times and stuff, then we are definitely willing to help you with that. Just schedule a free consulting call for our online coaching and we will help you to really recover in a very, very healthy and sustainable way. And then, yeah, hope to see you in the first call and in the next video. So, see you guys.